They say traveling together reveals who someone really is. I just didn't expect it to reveal who Camille had been all along. We'd been dating for over 3 years, lived together for 1.5, built routines, shared passwords, talked about getting a dog someday, maybe even kids after our careers stabilized. To everyone around us, friends, family, coworkers, we were that couple. The one who seemed stable, mature, genuinely happy. So when Camille suggested a month-long Europe trip to recharge, reconnect, and experience something magical together, I was all in. I've been saving for years anyway, working overtime on weekends, skipping night outs, living lean so I could finally afford to breathe outside the grind. And the idea of exploring the cobbled streets of old cities with the woman I loved? That felt like the reward at the end of a long, uphill climb. We planned it down to the hour. Rome, Florence, Vienna, Prague, Amsterdam, Paris. The flights were on me. She took care of the hotels and bookings, her way of keeping it fair. We even created a shared folder with a packing list, restaurant reservations, and notes on local customs. It felt serious, intentional, real. And for the first few days, it was. Rome was a whirlwind of pasta, wine, and late-night kisses by fountains. We laughed at our bad Italian accents. She sketched street performers while I bartered for souvenirs. We slow danced on our tiny balcony to jazz playing on her phone. I genuinely thought, this is it. This is what life is supposed to feel like. But by day 4, something shifted. Camille became distant in the smallest ways. At first, it was just her being on her phone more often. She said it was friends checking in from back home or her mom asking for updates. Then came the new passwords. Her phone, which used to buzz face up on the table, now always lay face down or tucked into her bag. Then came the "I'm tired, go without me" excuses. In Florence, she insisted on skipping a tour we had both looked forward to for months. "My back hurts," she claimed. "You go, take pictures for me." I believed her. Or rather, I chose to believe her. Because when you love someone, your first instinct is to protect that illusion. But even the strongest illusions start to crack under pressure. She began disappearing in the evenings. Said she wanted alone time to journal or hit the spa. She'd come back late with excuses about a long massage or getting lost finding why. I didn't confront her, at least not at first. I kept smiling, kept pretending. But inside, I was watching. I was listening. Every laugh that wasn't meant for me. Every notification she glanced at with a quick swipe and nervous smile. Every mention of a friend from college she hadn't spoken of before. Then came the night it all unraveled. We were in Florence. Sunset bathed the city in gold. The wine tour had just ended, and we were supposed to head back to the hotel for dinner. But Camille wanted to spend some time at the spa alone. She kissed me on the cheek, smiled like everything was fine, and disappeared. 10 minutes later, my gut, tight and cold, overruled my patience. I followed. Not like a stalker. Just like a man desperate to know whether he was crazy or finally waking up. I stayed in the shadows, keeping my distance. My heart thudded harder with each step. And there she was. Not in the spa. Outside it. In a quiet corner of the courtyard. Wrapped in someone else's arms. Laughing. Kissing. Touching him like she used to touch me. And just like that, time stopped. I should have felt rage. But I didn't. Not yet. Instead, I felt something colder. Something sharper. Let her keep pretending, I thought. Let her keep lying. Let's see just how far she's willing to go. Because if she wanted to play a game, she had no idea who she was playing with. I didn't sleep that night. Not from heartbreak. That would come later. That night was all about calculation. I lay in bed, listening to the shower run, Camille humming a soft tune, probably the same one she used with him. I imagined her washing off the scent of betrayal, then sliding under the covers next to me like nothing had happened. And that's exactly what she did. "Long massage," she mumbled. "Sorry I was late." I smiled in the dark. "It's okay," I whispered. "You deserve to relax." That was the moment I decided to stop being the fool in her story. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to confront her and give her a chance to lie and twist the truth. I was going to let the show go on. And I was going to let her pay for it. Literally. The next morning, I woke up early and booked a Michelin star lunch in Venice, first-class train seats, a wine tour in Bordeaux, and a private Seine cruise in Paris. All under her travel card. When she woke up and saw the calendar, she lit up. "Babe, you planned this?" I kissed her forehead. "Only the best for you." She had no idea that every romantic gesture from that point forward was dipped in acid. Every kiss I gave her was a silent slap. Every compliment, a dagger disguised as sugar. In Prague, I bought her the boots she'd been eyeing for days. She gasped and jumped into my arms. "You're amazing," she laughed. In Barcelona, I asked a stranger to take our picture at sunset on the beach. I wrapped my arms around her and smiled like I was the luckiest man alive. I knew what I was doing. She had cast me as the clueless boyfriend in her little European affair. But I was rewriting the script scene by scene. Every euro she spent brought us closer to the finale. I started noticing patterns. Every city, she needed space for a few hours. Every time, she returned glowing. Her excuses got sloppier, her lies thinner. Once, she claimed she got lost walking to a museum that was 5 minutes from our hotel. Another time, she blamed a stomach bug for vanishing all afternoon, but posted an accidental Instagram story that showed wine, cheese, and his reflection in a mirror. She didn't know I saw it. I screenshotted everything. Not because I needed proof, but because I knew one day I'd want to remember the exact moment I stopped loving her. By the time we reached Paris, the final city, she was so wrapped in her fantasy she didn't even try to hide it anymore. She wore new perfume, started dressing differently, switched her phone password again. She even started calling me babe with a rehearsed tone, like it was a line from a play she wasn't feeling anymore. The irony? She kept thanking me for being so understanding, for treating her like a queen. And I did, because I knew what came next. She thought this trip would end with memories and laughter, but it was going to end with a silence she'd never forget, and a goodbye that would haunt her every time she heard my name. Paris, the city of love. How poetic. Camille was practically glowing when we arrived, wearing a flowing beige dress, wide sunglasses, and a fake smile that had gotten so well-rehearsed it could have won her an Oscar. She twirled under the Eiffel Tower like a girl in a perfume ad, and I played along camera in hand, capturing her from all the right angles. The sad part? Part of me still wished the version of her I fell in love with would come back. But that version didn't exist anymore. That version died somewhere between Florence and Prague. Now there was just a liar with perfect skin and an expensive taste in betrayal. Our last night was meant to be special. She booked a candlelit dinner at a rooftop restaurant overlooking the Seine, her treat. She looked stunning. Red lips, soft waves, a silk dress that shimmered under the lights. She held my hand across the table. "This trip has been incredible. You've been incredible." I stared at her for a long second. "Have I?" She tilted her head. "Of course." The waiter brought wine. She raised her glass. "To us," she said. I clinked it gently, and then I leaned back in my chair and smiled. "Camille," I said quietly, "tell me, what was your favorite part of the trip?" She blinked. Maybe Tuscany? The sunsets were amazing." "Really? Not the spa in Florence? Or maybe that little cafe in Prague with the mirrored wall?" I watched her freeze. Just slightly. Her hand twitched around the stem of her glass. I don't know what you mean." "Of course you don't." I pulled my phone out, placed it on the table, unlocked, opened a folder titled Reality. One by one, I flipped through photos, screenshots, her story, his reflection, the crumpled restaurant receipt with 2 glasses of wine ordered while I was supposedly sick in the hotel, the drawing she left out by mistake, his name scrawled in the corner like some high school secret. "You forgot to log out of your backup Instagram," I said flatly. It was linked to our shared iCloud. Rookie move. She stared at the screen like it was a loaded gun. "Wait, listen." I raised a hand. Calm. No shouting. No lies. "Not tonight. I'm not here to fight." Tears welled in her eyes. "I made a mistake." "No, Camille. Mistakes are accidents. You made choices. Repeatedly. In every city. While I paid for the hotels, the meals, the memories. You weren't torn. You were just careful. Or so you thought." She reached for my hand. I pulled it away. "I know who he is. I know where you met him. I even know what you told him about me." Her lip trembled. "It didn't mean anything. He didn't mean anything." I laughed softly. "You spent 3 weeks kissing him behind my back while I held your camera back." She sat in silence. "I'm done," I said. She opened her mouth, but I was already standing. The check had been paid. By her. I made sure of that earlier. A silent transfer from her card as she smiled across the table. I slid my phone into my jacket. "Hotel's covered till the weekend. Flight back? You'll figure it out." And then I walked away. Down the spiral staircase. Out into the Paris night. Free. I didn't look back. Not as I walked past couples dancing by the river, Not as the lights of the Eiffel Tower sparkled behind me, and not when my phone buzzed 5 times in a row with her name. She called. She texted. She begged. First with tears. Then with rage. Then silence. It didn't matter. I was already back at my solo Airbnb, the one I'd secretly booked 2 days earlier, the moment I decided enough was enough. I sat on the balcony, sipping cheap red wine and listening to Paris hum beneath me. For the first time in weeks, maybe months, I wasn't performing. I wasn't pretending. I wasn't hurt anymore. I was done. And the strange thing was, I didn't feel broken. I felt clean. That's what she never understood. I would have forgiven her. Maybe even worked through it if she had told the truth. But she didn't just cheat on me, she mocked me with her silence. She let me pay for her fantasy while I clung to something that had died long before we boarded the first plane. In the end, Camille lost something much bigger than a boyfriend. She lost a man who would have done anything for her. She lost a future she pretended to want. And I gained clarity, peace, a new definition of self-respect. I flew home alone 3 days later, upgraded myself to first class, ate steak 30,000 feet in the air with a quiet smile on my face. Back home, I packed her things into a box and left them outside the door with a note. Don't text. Don't call. This chapter is closed. I never heard from her again. But every now and then, when I see a cheap romance movie or smell that perfume she used to wear, I remember the trip that changed everything. And I think, thanks for the memories, Camille. Hope he was worth it.